Hi, everyone. I'm Ali. I'm here with my colleague, Jordan. We are chatting today about a process that Jordan recently completed, helping an organization gain alignment around a vision and a plan for the future. The organization, as I understand it, is a new technology venture startup within an established organization in an established industry. Jordan, tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, well, that's a good introduction. Without divulging too much information, I can tell you that our team that was on the project, the Ignite team, we were quite excited about it because this one was kind of new and it was kind of interesting. Checked all of our boxes. They were an SME. They have structured leadership, a great leadership team, visionary leaders, but they were very entrepreneurial in terms of their operations. They had found themselves kind of sitting on this gold mine, and their results in terms of revenue and profit had seen exponential growth over the last few years, but they had done that without any sort of real business plan or strategic plan. And before it got out of control, I guess you could say, they brought us in to help create some alignment among their senior leadership around, so where do we want to take this thing, and how do we need to get there? Because they haven't had those conversations to this point, and that was the value that we added. So we brought these guys together for two sessions. One, the first session was a visioning session. We had the benefit of going into this project with a bit of a clear timeline. Each of them had said from the outset, in roughly 5 years, we want to be out, which was, again, part of the unique aspect of this project. 5 years, we want to sell the business. It's cut and dry. We want to wipe our hands of it and be done with it. So there was a bit of a timeline that we got to work with. So the first question was, okay, so 5 years from now, what does the business look like? What does it look like in terms of revenue? What does it look like in terms of scope or expansion across the country? What kind of people are you working with? Essentially through the lens of how do we make this business attractive to a potential buyer? What emerged from that was a bit of a vision, but more importantly, the constructs that make up this vision. We talked about the people of the organization. We talked about impact. We talked about financial results. We talked about the value of each of the streams of business. And we took a bit of a pause. I think there was about a week in between the visioning session and the actual strategic session. What that allowed them to do was to sleep on it, essentially. And they took that information away. Luckily for our benefit, that there weren't any major changes to the visioning component. Then we brought the team together again for a more detailed strategic session. We said, okay, so here's the goal. 5 years from now, we need to be here. How do we get there?
Any final thoughts? What did you enjoy about the process?
The overall engagement from their team was hugely positive and energizing. From day one, it felt like a partnership. It didn't feel like we were holding their hand and dragging them down the path. They were our partners in this process, and they saw us in a similar light. From the first conversation through the outreach to the last conversation, there was a high degree of trust. There was a high degree of mutual respect, because we all wanted the same thing out of this process. We all wanted this group to be successful. So I think there's a lot of great lessons within there about how to build trust, how to maintain trust, and then how to execute accordingly.